Hello, I hope you're doing well today. Welcome back to the channel. I want to talk today about something that I think a lot of us struggle with, but we don't talk about enough. It's something that I struggle with every day as a therapist, and I have a feeling that a lot of you guys struggle with it as well, and sometimes we feel like we're alone. And that is imposter syndrome. You know, that feeling that you're in the wrong room, or that you're convinced that you don't belong, or that you're not as qualified or as capable as people think that you are. Yeah, that. And it's a lot more common than you think. And it can be a total confidence killer. But today, I want to dive exactly into what imposter syndrome really is, why it happens, and most importantly, how to overcome it. Well, let's start with a simple question. Have you ever found yourself thinking, I'm not qualified for this, or I just got lucky. There are people that are way more talented than I am, or even worse. I'm gonna be found out any minute now, and everybody's gonna know that I'm a fraud. So if you've said yes to any of those, well, you're not alone. That feeling of self-doubt, despite evidence to the contrary, is what we call imposter syndrome. It's that little voice in your head that whispers, you don't deserve your success, or that you don't really know what you're doing. Now, let's break this down a bit. Imposter syndrome just isn't about low self-esteem. It's about feeling like you're somehow faking it, even when you've worked hard and earned your accomplishments. It's like you're in a constant state of waiting for the other shoe to drop, expecting people to eventually realize that you're not as good as they think that you are. And this can happen at work, at school, even relationships. And the thing is, it doesn't matter how many qualifications you have or how many times you've succeeded, imposter syndrome can still sneak up and make you feel like you don't belong. And it's funny, because on the outside, everything might look great. People are complimenting your work, you're hitting milestones, maybe achieving things you've always dreamed of. But on the inside, it's a different story. You might be thinking, I don't deserve this, or I'm just fooling everyone. And that's imposter syndrome at work. And it's incredibly common. In fact, studies show that 70% of people say that they've experienced it at least once in their lives, no matter how successful they are. So, why does this happen? Well, there could be a few reasons. For one, it could be rooted in perfectionism. If you hold yourself to ridiculously high standards, then anything short of perfect will feel like a failure. And if you've made it without being perfect, well, imposter syndrome can trick you into thinking that it was just a fluke. It can also come from comparing yourself to others, and social media especially doesn't help here. We spend so much time scrolling through other people's highlight reels and achievements that when we take a look back at ourselves, we somehow feel like we're falling short. But really, comparison is a trap. Everyone has their own journey, and the only person that you should be comparing yourself against is the you from yesterday. Progress is personal. Now, let's get to the good stuff. Like, how do we tackle this? How do we beat those imposter feelings and embrace our success for what it really is? Tip number 1, recognize that it's normal. First, let's just get this out there. But feeling like an imposter is totally normal. It doesn't mean that you don't belong or that you're not good enough. It just means that you're human. The key is to recognize those feelings for what they really are, a mental roadblock, and not letting them dictate your actions. Tip number 2, own your achievements. When you accomplish something, give yourself credit. We might chalk up our success to luck or timing or other people's help, but here's the truth. You were part of that success. You put in the work. You put in the time. And it's okay to be proud of that. You earned it. Tip number 3, reframe your thoughts. When those negative thoughts pop up like, I'm not qualified, or I don't deserve this. Reframe them. Remind yourself that even the most experienced and successful of people experience doubt. It doesn't make you a fraud, it just means that you're growing. And growth is uncomfortable. Start saying things like, I may not have all the answers yet, but I'm learning, or I'm exactly where I need to be right now. Tip number 4, talk about it. This one is huge. Don't keep those feelings to yourself. Talk to a friend, a mentor, or even a therapist. Be amazed at how many people share these same feelings. When you open up, it's not only cathartic, it helps you realize that you're not alone. Sometimes just hearing somebody else say, I've been there too, can be really reassuring. All right, so I know it's not easy, but remember this. You're not an imposter. You're a human being doing the best that they can. Guess what? That's enough. You don't need to be perfect. You don't need to have all the answers. And you definitely don't need to pretend to be someone that you're not. So the next time that little voice in your head tells you that you're a fraud, just remind it that you've earned every single thing that you've accomplished, and that you're still learning and growing along the way. If you've ever struggled with imposter syndrome, let me know in the comments below how you handled it. And if you're currently struggling with it, well, I'd love to chat with you. And if you found this video helpful, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more little insights like this. So until next time, remember, you're exactly where you're supposed to be, and you're doing just fine. I'll see y'all in the next one.